Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Well, it's just a few small announcements. First of all, if anyone is still not in the WhatsApp group, please ask your fellow brothers to include you in the group. We'll be sharing more like pictures, videos, and also announcements in the group in the coming rest of the time. And also, in addition to the program we have, maybe I can summarize quickly. We have lunch after this. We have Duhur prayer, and then lunch, and then another panel discussion, and then mashwara, the final remarks for the retreat. And after that, we will have like a activity, like a quiz, a contest. Yes, quiz. Again, we've done it like 2 days ago, and it was really we really enjoyed it. And in the evening, inshallah, we will have Colonel Jam's keynote. But for this session, we have a limited time. Zuhur is approaching, so we don't want to take too much of time. Maybe we delayed like for maybe 10-15 minutes, not too much. But for the sake of time, I'm going to really ask every brother to get your thoughts a little bit concise and put it under 1 minute, at most 2 minutes. Okay? I will check the time when I give some, for you to speak. Please try to keep it under 1 minute or at most 2 minutes. And always raise your hand. I'll try to make eye contact with everybody. Without that, please, unless it is like a one word or one sentence addition to the comment like that is really urgent, please don't interrupt or don't have two-way communications. Otherwise, it's very difficult to manage the session, and it keeps delaying, inshallah. Is Alper here? Did he start recording? Can you check the screen? Yeah, is it recording?
It's recording, I guess.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. Alright. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Seventh truth from the 10th verse. The gate of protection and preservation. The manifestation of the names of preserver and guardian. Is it at all possible that Allah's attribute of preserver, which protects all things with the utmost order and balance, things in the heavens and on the earth, on dry land and in the ocean, dry and wet, large and small, commonplace and exalted, and as it were, sifts their results by way of accounting, is it at all possible that this attribute should permit the deeds and acts of man who has been given the lofty disposition of humanity, the rank of the supreme vicegeneration, and the duty of bearing the supreme trust, not to be recorded, not to be passed through the sieve of accounting, not to be weighted in the balance of justice, not to be punished or rewarded fittingly, even though his acts and deeds closely pertain to Allah's universal dominicality. No, it is not in any way possible. Yes, the being that administers this cosmos preserves all things in order and balance. Order and balance are the manifestation of knowledge and wisdom, of will and power. For we see that the substance of every created object is fashioned in well-ordered and symmetrical fashion. Not only is each of the forms it changes throughout its life well-ordered, but the totality of these forms is also marked by the same orderliness. We see too that the glorious preserver preserves many forms of all things, the life of which comes to an end when they have performed their function, and which departs from the manifest word in the memories of men that are like a kind of preserved tablets. There's a footnote directing, see the footnote to the 7th aspect above. Or in a form of ecotypal mirror. He also writes and describes a brief history of their life in a seed, that is like a result and outcome of the whole. Thus, he causes all things to be preserved in mirrors pertaining to both the outer and inner worlds. The memory of man, the fruit of the tree, the kernel of the fruit, the seed of the flower. All of these demonstrate the universality and comprehensiveness of the law of preservation. You can pause here and then get some comments or questions, if there is any.
Especially our records in our memory, I shared two places from the Sander, because of rather in internet perhaps, you see two places. One of them is so new for us. The other one, yes, we were thinking. One of them is in the 22nd word, in the second station. And the other one, 27th pan windows in the 23rd words. As far as, can you see?
22nd word?
22nd word in the third flash or fourth, third flash, I think.
Which station?
A second
station.
The whole universe is written in your memory.
Third flash?
Third flash? Okay. Yes. The example like this, last paragraph. You can read last paragraph.
Does if one seal out of many chemical seals?
Yes.
Does he have no picture?
Yes, but at the end, at the last paragraph,
I can give it to you. Third flash.
stamp part, if you're able to see, no. Yes, then, yes, this one. Human faculty of memory. Only that this part of sentence. Memory, then.
The human faculty of memory, which is situated in a place the size of a lentil,
Yeah.
writing enough to fill a library, and to include in that tiny faculty a detailed index of all events in the cosmos.
Cosmos. All event in cosmos. Detailed, very important. Mufassal, not müjmel. Mufassal. In our memory, yes.
To do all things is most certainly a stamp particular to the creator of all things, the glorious sustainer of the universe.
Yes. And can you read from the 27th windows to the 33rd word? فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِسْقَالَ ذَرَةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. A friend said that yara, be careful. Yara in our memory. Ikra kitabek kafa binafsika al-yawm alayka hasiba. Also we can remember two realities in our memory related to the universe. I think we spoke to friends as we are we are observing the rain. We can remember something because written down related to the rain, for example, sun. Yes, please. Yeah.
27th window.
Yes, the second. Yes, for about the same at the beginning.
From
memory.
We look at all things. We look at things which appear to be causes and effects in the universe, and we see that the most elevated cause possesses insufficient power for the most ordinary effect.
Continue. Yes.
This means that causes are a veil, and something else makes the effects. To take only a small example out of innumerable creatures, let us consider the faculty of memory, which is situated in an immense head in a space as tiny as mustard seed.
Yeah.
We see that it is like a book so comprehensive, indeed, like a library that within is written, without confusion, the entire story of a person's life.
Yes.
What cause can be shown for this miracle of power? The grey matter of the brain? The simple unconscious particles of its cells? The winds of chance and coincidence? But that miracle of art can only be the work of an all-wise maker, who, in order to inform man that all the actions he has performed have been recorded. Who, in order to inform man that all the actions he has performed have been recorded and will be recalled at the time of accounting. Writes out a small ledger from the great book of man's deeds to be published at the resurrection, and gives it to the hand of his mind.
Yes. Can you remember a friend from the Fajr Suresi? Man remembers everything. تذكر.
وأن له الذكر.
Yes, in Fajr Suresi.
يوم يتذكر الإنسان.
إنسان.
يوم يتذكر الإنسان.
ما سأل. No, no. يميز الإنسان. Yes. Yes. And we can remember اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسبة فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى. We should be careful. Records and our memory is indicating the existence of hereafter. I think seventh truth, the main idea is this. Records otherwise becomes meaningless. Record, yes, by using our memory, we can find our house, school, math, physics, yes. These are wisdoms. But main wisdom given here in 27th window, the evidence of hereafter. You know, man will understand that. I think Kiram and Katibin's records, one copy, can we say one copy, is our memory. They are writing down. Kiram يفعلون. Yes, and they are writing at the same time. Our memory is recorded. Our memory is recorded.
يوم يتذكر الإنسان ما سعى.
ما سعى in future سعى نعم سعى يوم يتذكر الإنسان بأن له الذكرى. I think
سورة النازعات يوم يتذكر الإنسان ما سعى.
Yes, similar. Man will remember in Mahshar by observing their actions and will be judged himself herself. اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا. Make your decision yourself. And in the tafsir I have seen unbelievers will make decision correctly about himself. Said that my place is hell. Yes, regretful, but will say that my place is hell. So interesting. And another aspect, did you have an idea? The macrocosm is in your memory. My story in my memory, yes. Relatively, this is easy. What about universe? A friend said that the memory, Lev Mahfuz, English? The tablet. Your memory, Ustad is saying insistently, constantly, the sample of Lev Mahfuz. That means what is there in Lev Mahfuz related to you is in your memory. Because sample of Lev Mahfuz is your memory. But ayat is saying, fanzur. In this context, you can remember, fanzur to your memory. Everything you saw, everything you listened, everything you touched. I think in another word, the skin will.
وقالوا يوم تشهد عليهم ألسنتهم وأيديهم وأرجلهم بما كانوا يعملون وقالوا لجلودهم لما شهدتم علينا. وأيدي asked.
أنتك الله.
قالوا أنطقنا الله الذي أنطق كل شيء.
Everything you touched, everything you saw, everything you heard, your memory. Sometimes people, our nafs says, mobile is out of doesn't work, but memory is working and written down. Thank you very much.
To get back to the text, you said that they demonstrate the universality and comprehensiveness of the law of preservation.
Yes.
This is obviously from the point of view of the Creator, but we have a fitri desire and need, whether you're a believer or unbeliever, taw'an makarhan, we have an absolutely fitri need to preserve and to record, because we keep accounts, we write diaries, we record things in ledgers and history books, we have memories, we take photographs, we make films, and all of them are for future use. All of the things that we record are for future use, believers or unbelievers. And the rise of Hafidiyya and Hifziyya in the past 150 years, just through photography and film alone, shows that this is something that's innate to our fitra. You know, in 1853, when they had the very, very first black and white photograph, then they had color photographs and they had moving images. Then they recorded things. They were able to record things in black and white, and then sound, and then color. And now you can record hundreds of thousands of terabytes on something that's smaller than human nail. So it's a two-way thing. It's not just that Allah has this comprehensive and universal law of preservation. We have a fitri, even though we don't understand it, we have a fitri need to record, and that has a meaning. So there is a tawafuq between the creator and the creation completely in this.
And can you read from the, or can you remember from the sixth truth? Sixth truth. Kervansaray, passengers, and Allah has put the human being a camera, the person recording himself. In the sixth truth, which
There are principles.
The passengers are going, and shortly
But each guest takes a photograph of the objects in the caravanserai by means of his special camera.
Special camera, what is this?
Also, the servants of that great personage record with great care of conduct of all guests and preserve the record.
Other records there are, but special camera we have.
Yes.
Allah has also given some signs that we see in this world that we can know that they are being recorded. For example, we have now, I mean, I'm talking and you hear me, the sound is carried by the atoms or zarra, and we can see that, for example, we use internet. We call it now fiber internet. It's so fast because we put the information onto light and we send it to the other side of the world in less than a second. So thinking about these, we can say that we are being recorded all the time because Allah gave these specialties to these unconscious creatures.
For example, just to add one thing, they mention about if you put a telescope, let's say, very far away from Earth and look at the Earth, like let's say 10,000 light years away, and then you can see what was happening in the world 10,000 years ago, because the light that was reflecting from the Earth was traveling through the universe towards all directions, and is still traveling. I don't know if that makes sense. Like for example, they say, I don't know if that's correct. They say that you can see dinosaurs or other extinct species, etc.
They are in somewhere. Mesnevi Nuri is saying human being has had this and trying to reach. The voice of Fatih Sulaiman, for example. They are somewhere. Now, in technology, the human beings have felt, I think, not discovered, felt or like discovered. But they are trying to reach. And one thing I try to share, very short. When I was inspector in the ministry, interior ministry, the teacher in the university came to give us a lecture about this. Very interesting. Everything is written down, although you cannot remember. About this, I hadn't joined. A friend said to me. He said that here I think the same thing. Perhaps we see. His example is this: you sometimes says to a person, "I know you, but I cannot remember." In Kahramanmaraş, did you do that? No. Edirne? No. I think that we know each other. That professor said that in Gazi University, in Ministry gave a lecture. Can be this in airport or in a bus station. You are running to reach the bus. Another person running another place, face to face, 1 second. That's why you are saying, I know you.
Just 1 second.
1 second. But you cannot remember. And do you remember ayet, lastly, 47 Enbiya suresi. Hardal. Ustad is using hardal. Comes from the 47 ayet. Do you remember? Huh? And
وإن كان مثقال حبة من خردل أتينا بها وكفى بنا حاسبين.
yes. Allah will bring.
Yes.
And
Even
the person will see. Yes.
You are
Hardal like particle zerre.
You are Hafiz, brother?
Yes.
You preserved Quran in your brain.
That's also. But some Arabic especially brothers like Hafiz in Britain. I've seen not Hafiz. But as soon as I say one word, he completes. So busy with Quran.
Okay, for the sake of time, let's move on a little bit, and then we will get comments again, inshallah. Don't forget. Do you not see that all the flowers and fruits of the vast spring, the records of their deeds in appropriate form, the laws of their formation, and the images of their forms, are all inscribed into finite space of a minute seed, and are there preserved? The following spring, their record of deeds is set forth in a form of accounting appropriate to them, and another vast word of spring is brought forth with the utmost order and wisdom.
Sorry, only one sentence. In the Quran, there is the ayat at the beginning of the 30th word, one ayat, I think. And to see an afaki ayat, Allah is saying, I will show you. And to see memory. Afaki you are reading now. We are observing.
Internal and external
Yes.
examples.
آية وإذ أخذ ربك من بني آدم من ظهورهم ذريتهم وأشهدهم على أنفسهم ألست بربكم قالوا بلى. يعني Allah showed asked us before coming that I am your God, and we admitted.
Yes.
This demonstrates with what powerful comprehensiveness Allah's attribute of preserver exercises itself. Considering that the result of such transient, commonplace, impermanent, and insignificant things are preserved, is it at all possible that man's deeds that yield important fruits in the world of the unseen, the world of the hereafter, and the world of spirits, from the point of view of universal dominicality, is that all possible that they should not be guarded and preserved, should not be recorded as a matter of importance? No, by no means. Yes, from this manifestation of Allah's attribute of preserver, it can be deduced that the master of all creations devotes great care to the orderliness of all things that come to pass in his realm. He pays great attention to the function of sovereignty and lavishes extreme care on the dominicality of kingship. Thus, he records, or causes to be recorded, the pettiest of happenings, the smallest of services, and preserves in numerous things the form of everything that happens in his realm. This attribute of preserver indicates that an important register of deeds will be subjected to a precise examination and weighing. The records of men's deeds will stand revealed. Maybe we can pause a little bit if there are any urgent comments so far. Yes,
Maybe this will be a different question. How should we understand difference between preservation and protection, which is original form is hifz and hafiziyet? I just wondered maybe.
any short answer to that?
Yeah, that's short answer.
You preserve something and then you protect it so that it doesn't disappear on a physical level. So, for example, you preserve a ledger, something that's been written in the 14th century is being preserved for example, the accounts of a king, and then it has to be protected in a particular atmosphere. The temperature has to be correct, has to be looked after. So protection and preservation go together, and Allah does those both simultaneously.
What is the original words for the two signs of Siyat?
And another name are together. What is the wisdom? Perhaps we can wonder now or later. Hafiz and Raqib. In that truth. Hafiz and Raqib. Guardian, and they are looking to each other. What is the wisdom?
Now, is it at all possible that man should be ennobled with the vicegerency and the trust that as a witness to the universality of dominicality, he should proclaim Allah's unity in the realm of multiplicity, and thus act as a controller and witness by having some share in the glorification of Allah and worship of most beings? Is it at all possible that he should do all of these and then go to his grave and sleep peacefully without ever being awakened? Without ever being asked concerning his deeds, small and great? That he should not go to the plane of resurrection and be tried at the supreme tribunal? No, by no means. Or is it at all possible for man to flee and hide himself in annihilation, for him to enter the earth and conceal himself from that powerful and glorious one to whose power over all contingencies in the future? There's a footnote here. Maybe a long footnote. Let me finish the paragraph and then I will go back to footnote. The occurrences of past time, each a miracle of his power, bear witness, and who visibly creates winter and spring that taken together resemble resurrection. Since man is not called to account and judged in fitting fashion while in this world, it follows that he must proceed to the supreme tribunal and final felicity. Let me read the footnote if there is no urgent. So the footnote was saying the powerful and glorious one to whose power over all contingencies in the future. The footnote: the entirety of the past, extending from the present back to the beginning of creation, consists of occurrences.
Perhaps we can remember the original word, vukuat. Occurrences, vukuat, yes.
Every day, year and century that came into being is like a line, a page, a book, written by the pen of destiny. The hand of Allah's power has inscribed his miraculous signs there with the utmost wisdom and order. Similarly, time from the present until resurrection, paradise and eternity, consist entirely of contingencies.
İmkanat. İmkanat, yes.
The past consists of occurrences, the future of contingencies. Now, if these two chains of time be compared with each other, it will be seen to be true of a certainty that the being that created yesterday and brought into being the creatures peculiar to it, is capable too of creating tomorrow, together with creatures. Again, there is no doubt that the beings and wonders of past time that wondrous display are the miraculous works of a powerful and glorious one. They bear decisive witness that that powerful one is capable of creating all of the future and its contingencies and manifesting all of its wonders. The one who creates an apple must of a certainty be able to create all the apples in the world and to bring the vast spring into being. Conversely, the one who cannot create a spring cannot create a single apple either, for the apple is made at the same workbench. But the one who creates an apple can make the spring. Each apple is an example in miniature of a tree, even of a garden or a cosmos. The apple seed that carries within itself the life story of the huge tree is, from the point of view of artistry, such a miracle that the one who creates it thus is incapable of nothing. So too, the one that creates today is able also to create the day of resurrection. And it's only the one capable of creating the spring that is able to create resurrection. The one who affixes all the words of past time to be the ribbon of time and displays them there in utmost wisdom and order. Is without doubt capable of attaching other beings to the ribbon of the future and displaying them there. In several other words, particularly 22nd word, we proved with utter certainty that the one who cannot create everything cannot create anything. The one who cannot create everything cannot create anything. And the one who can fashion one thing can fashion everything. Also, if the creation of everything is entrusted to a single being, the creation of all things becomes as easy as the creation of single thing. Thus, facility arises. If, on the contrary, it is entrusted to numerous causes and ascribed to multiplicity, the creation of single thing becomes as difficult as creation of everything. And such difficulty arises as borders on impossibility. Thanks for your patience for this long footnote. Talks about many things, but if there's any comments, we can
Maybe about, as Ali abi explained, if we differentiate the microcosmos and macrocosmos, or what our memory keeps or records, indeed there is no difference between the micro and macro, because Allah didn't create only one world. He created worlds as many as peoples, right? Rabbul Alamin, it explains that. So in the 32nd word, it says each person will be given a whole world because he built up his world with reflection. I think you remember from that part. So I think we all have particular world, right? I think it is as real as the common world, because it is governed, it has its balance. Allah keeps its balance, like Rabbul Alamin it explains. So you are central in that world, and your role is very important. So a universe is kept with you, so it will be created again with you. So indeed you have an original and particular a unique world for you in your memory.
Yeah, I think that relates to the hadith that says when a person dies, his qiyamah began. قَدْ قَامَتْ قِيَامَتُهُ. Right? So it is of the size, the complexity, the gravity of the qiyamah itself, the death of a person also. And I think, I've not read it myself, but I've heard many students of Noor saying that the Ustad explains that, it is only in humanity that each person is a world in itself. I mean, not in the sense of the apple that we just read, that is clear that, to make a mosquito you need to make the whole universe, right? But the fact that each person is different and contrary to other species, each person is much more complex, in regards to the species. So each person is in itself a world.
in itself a species.
Right,
Each
exactly.
person
That's
is
what I meant to say.
itself a
Yes, exactly.
So we tend to think our particular world. It's explained in first letter, right? The letter, the first letter. It is. It seems like imaginary, but not. It is not imaginary. It's a real world. It has its balance. It is governed. Allah explained it with Rabbul Alamin. It means Allah also governs them, the particular world, because it has its own balance. I think maybe you can.
And shortly and lastly, as indicated in Isharat al-Ijaz, in every realms in the universe, one sample of them is in human being. One of them, Levh Mahfuz, memory, and other realms also as a summary or miniature sample of them is human beings. And that shows that the universe is turning around in each person, not generally, specifically in each person. That's why I can share the ayat in Duhan suresi related to this, I think. Bismillah. فَمَا بَكَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ. After the unbelievers, behind unbelievers, the earth and the Sama didn't cry. Ustad is saying, as far as I remember, in two places, in 2013 flash and 32nd word, behind believers, the universe is crying spiritually, because memory and mahfuz, in our imagination, what was the universe? Preserved that, and other realms are in human being, in each person. If a person, just saying in the Shah, as you remember, let's remember together, if we use these samples in correct way as described in Quran, these are become the keys to open the door, and the manifestation of attributes and the manifestation of names are discovered by this person, together with the universe, to live and to prepare for the after, inshallah.
Maybe one aspect is, if a machinery or a factory is working there are so many wheels, then their operation is connected to each other. There's harmony there. If anything comes there and damage the harmony, then all the wheels are complaining about it.
Complaining.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if harmony is kept, then it's okay. Then there is a harmony in the universe. Everything is following the command of Allah. If human being, as believer, follows the command of Allah, then he keeps the harmony in the universe. Otherwise, he is damaging. Therefore, I think the universe and the earth is complaining, not crying on the disbelievers.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a hypothesis that there's one reality is that Allah creates everything and gives it motion in the universe, and one object will never pass the same place. Although it seems that we are revolving around the sun with the earth and we go through the same orbit. No, the whole solar system is moving at the speed of 150 million kilometers per, I can't remember this, I don't want to make up the thing, but this is much faster than the earth motion. So the hypothesis is that the objects or human beings and everything in creation leaves an imprint of themselves in Madde Etheria, that's the essence of creation. And that imprint is continuous, and everything leaves behind all the memories, perhaps in three-dimensional. Then this is continuous until their disappearance. So perhaps everything is written, deposited in all aspects. Even our thinking, our memory, we think something and we never do it. Perhaps that's also recorded. So if that hypothesis is true, the whole universe is a recording book in that respect. So Allah has many levels of recording, like the human memory, seeds. Then at various levels, perhaps the whole universe is a recording book that will be produced in front of us when the true judgment is done.
Because the time is for us to understand the causes and the relationship, right? From Allah's perspective, is out of that time. It's like looking at all times at the same time. Okay, I still say time, but you got the point. Maybe that's as you said, like everything is actually a recording book. Interesting.
Just a few words. Even for the atoms now, there is a theory that each atom has got a stamp of Allah on their face. Each atom is different. Although say iron or whatever, each atom, although they are identified as sort of different from the others, other atoms, or for the same element, each atom created with the same structure is different, because Allah never repeats in their creation. So each atom is in fact has got a destiny and plan, and also their recording of it within itself, where the atom is going to go, what duties it's going to take. All they are written within atom, and that process, like the seed, has got everything written within it, or the whole program of its action into becoming a tree and fruition, etc., are all written there. Every atom has got a memory or a recording within it, so that in action it unfolds.
And so nowadays this is easy to understand with technology. Some friends say that you know better. Now, in fact, it is possible in every corner of Sakarya, in the street, in Ankara, in everywhere, to be recorded by the government state in all whole world. But they are discussing, is it contrary to the human rights or not? Now, in some open area, it is till now, but in front of elevator, in the school, in everywhere, it is possible with technology. But is it suitable for human rights or not? They are discussed.
You should go to the UK.
Yeah.
In an average day, if you walk around London, you're caught on camera 3,000 times.
In parks, in streets,
3,000 times.
everywhere.
Every day.
And in China, there's this personal credit, they say, like it's doing. So if you do mistakes, like they decrease your credit, so to speak, when you apply. I mean, it affects your life basically, because they are trying to control people so much. That itself, the intention of that government of controlling is actually coming from this human nature of to preserve things, like they want to.
They don't have religion. Instead, they create this artificial deity, the state.
Out of their desire to preserve things.
If it is used correctly, can be useful, beneficial. But in an incorrect way, problem. This is example.
Yes, there are hands.
2 points. One, Ustad mentions that your particle visit many places and they get enlightened, and they will be building the hereafter.
Yeah.
There will be enlightened particles there. And another one is that about our memory. The Prophet ﷺ, in the Ascension, so all the realms, so he memorized everything. As he knows the Quran completely, no need for any tafsir. He also read all the cosmos, all the realms.
The Kitab-ı Kainat,
Kitab-ı
the
Kainat,
book of universe,
exactly.
he also seen all the realms. Yes, Ramadan.
I remember that Ustad always explains İsmi Hafiz with İsmi Evvel, İsmi Ahir, İsmi Zahir, İsmi Batın.
4 names.
With 4 names. Yani İsmi Hafiz includes the 4 names. Maybe in Fruit, Risale-i
At the end of Shu'ara, this is
Yes.
explained.
Yes.
At the end, last pages.
Yes.
Varis or Hafiz. Varis or Hafiz.
Gives an example from tree. The bark of tree is Zahir, and the seeds and the fruits and the inside of the tree, the love of teşekkür, kanun teşekkür. Yani those 4 names indicates the ism hafiz each other, correlate each other. So I think in conclusion, there is nothing in the universe without recording. And there is nothing in the universe without recording. And then Ustad says that Hasan abi said, is it all possible that he should do all of this and then go to his grave and sleep peacefully without even being awakened? The humankind, because he is representative of the universe. And Abdurrahim Hoca maybe know well, in the parliament, sometimes I'm seeing and every speaking of the parliamenters recording, because they are representative of our humankind, and the humankind is represented the all of the universe. So we are like not only Abdurrahim Hoca, we are also parliamenters of universe, and all things that we made, spoke, and recording in detail. Because when I saw first our parliament speakings, very detailed. X parliament said something, but I didn't understand. For example, there's a sentence like this. He should write this. So our responsibility to the universe necessitates this recordings.
Because it's basically supposed to be observer of the manifestation of divine name. So it's very important actually, right?
Yes.
That's the purpose of the creation of the whole universe.
Yes, and ibadah, at-tahiyyat, as-salawat,
Yes.
we should give to Allah, and we are responsible for all universe to universe.
Very, very yes, very shortly. In the meantime, Hocam, if there's really urgent things we need to read from the 15 notes you suggest, then we can only read that part, like one sentence.
Similar.
Okay.
Similar with the 70 truth.
Okay, then.
فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا here. That's similar.
Okay. You don't know? I mean, just maybe one paragraph or one sentence.
Last.
Yes, after Nebi Hocam,
yes.
I can read. You can find.
Yes.
Please, Nebi Hocam.
Last sentences.
Our actions are recorded with the intentions. It's also important. Not only the actions are recorded, intentions cannot be seen apparently. But in the recording, our actions are recorded with the intentions.
With our imagination.
With the intentions. Positive, negative,
وَأَسِرُّ قَوْلَكُمْ أَبِشَرُوا.
Imaginations as well.
Ustad says, imagine that don't come with me with bad feelings. I saw you like a snake. In Alim Misal maybe claims this.
Yes, Hocam, let's
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Does man suppose he will be left to his own devices? Bismillah yahsabul insanu en yutraka suda. The universe is proving this. Does man suppose he will be left to his own devices? Allah forbid, hasha. He is destined for eternity and for everlasting happiness and perpetual misery. He will be called to account for all his actions, small and great, many and few. He will receive either reward or punishment.
Any last urgent comments before we
have one.
conclude? Okay, first this and then this one, and then we finish, inshallah.
I remember one ayah that tells that day your nafs will be enough for you to criticize yourself. Maybe it's very similar one, how he says. The recording will be with intentions. So nafs will remember everything with the intention of himself.
Yes.
Complementary to the Abi and Nabi Abi's words, here in the 7th verse, it says that he causes all things to be preserved in nearest pertaining to both the outer and inner worlds, Zahir and Batin, aynas.
Any other?
I'll start saying, Ya Sattar, Ya Allah, because if I think of any ill of someone else, then it will be very obvious. May Allah cover all this.
آمين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. وآخر دعوانا من الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتح.
I want to say something.
Okay, one second.
Yeah.
Let's, if anyone doesn't have wudu or needs to refresh,
so important. There is the name, Allah names, it's Afu. Also Prophet ﷺ says, Allahumma innaka afuwwun kareemun. When we look at the meanings of Afu, Allah forgive our sins and delete things from the Kiram and Katibin and forget us our sins from myself and from the angels. And what I want to say, we are try to be mirror for the divine names. If Allah comes with us with the Afud names, we should use the Afud names also among the people. Just a short question.
Yes, for the remaining.
Do we have any provision about our imagination? Because I think provision you can, I think, because I know there is no provision about our imagination. If isn't any tasawwur or intention.
There's no intention, your imagination is not recorded.
Thank you so much.
As far as I
No, it is recorded, but it's not being accounted.
It's not being accounted.
It's recorded, but not being accounted.
Because if it's a good imagination, you can live it in the next one.
Yes.
Here, my phone says 10 years ago today, recorded. So it's going to show me what I have done.
What were you doing 10 years ago?
I see some beach hocam.
Or is it Yasaktan?
No, it's something negative. Turns up Yasaktan, yeah.
We all did the names of Allah.
Sorry?
The voice, it is recorded, sorry. I don't remember. Maybe we can ask him when he was right. I don't remember exactly what he did. We can start Sunnah, inshallah. Sorry for. Yes. Yes, I will stop. Yes, there is okay because it also needs to be.
Qibla is like this a little bit. Like this a little bit.
Very good. Yes, yes.
Enjoy this kind of thing?
My young and short brothers and sisters.